I'm guessing somewhere Will Smith is kicking back and feeling pretty good about his life choices.
It's gotten worse. Much worse. Mr. President? Dr. Oaken. You're awake. Very much so.
Why are they screaming?
No. They're not screaming. They're celebrating.
Independence Day Resurgence takes place 20 years after we originally kicked the aliens' butts, and now they're back for more. But do audiences want to be back for more? Here's 5 things you might want to know about Independence Day Resurgence. Gotta tell you, 20 years ago when the original Independence Day came out, I thought it was one of the best movies ever made. And there's a lot of things in this movie that remind me why I thought that. Let's start here. Number 1, the visuals in this are stunning. The destruction of our world from these aliens kind of goes to another level. And there are these entire scenes where the visual effects are severely and adequately realized on the screen in a way that I don't know that I was quite ready for, because we see a lot of world destruction, even in a lot of the superhero movies now. But there's something different about this where it feels invaded upon, and that's pretty stunning stuff. And it's not just the destruction visuals. The tech in this is really cool. The visual of the alien species and who they are is great as well. I think overall the look and feel of this reminds me why I love the original so much. It is really good. Another thing I loved from the first that's here as well that I wanted to talk a little bit about, Jeff Goldblum. Man, I love that guy. Every time he's in a movie, I'm like, I want to see him more. I want to see Jeff Goldblum in every movie ever made. There's something very unique about his presentation and who he is, and yet it's still very believable. So even though it's a little bit strange and a little bit off, you absolutely buy into his characters, and he was one of the best things about the first movie. I think he may be the best thing actor-wise about this movie. There's just something about his stammering cockiness that is a really interesting combination I really enjoy watching on the screen. So the movie has a few things going for it right off the bat that I like from the original, but unfortunately, they don't do a lot with it other than those couple of things. For instance, they actually add way too much new stuff here. Too many new characters, too many new plot lines. I know the original had that a little bit, but here it's over the top. I'm trying to remember who these people are, where they are, what they're doing, how they're intersecting, why they're intersecting. And with all that to remember and kind of keep track of, I don't know that I was ultimately confused. It just drained the movie of a real energy and momentum I think that it could have had if it had simplified things just a little bit more. The other thing I started to realize as I was watching this about the original was it was really lame in a lot of ways that it got away with that I don't think this one is going to get away with. We were much more forgiving 20 years ago, I think. Or maybe I just was, because I was watching with a different pair of eyes. I was much younger, whatever the case may be. But here, man, the lame dialogue is ridiculous. The suspension of disbelief for some of these moments is, forgive the pun, out of this world. The humor falls flat in many places, just feels a little bit, what's the word? Desperate. That's the word I would use. Everything just feels a little bit desperate. And expositional. There are entire scenes here where the dialogue only exists so that we can know what's supposed to be happening in the story. And because of that, the movie loses a lot of power, and you just can't look past it in this one like you could the first. And the reason you can't look past it, and I'll just finish with this, I think it's one of the big reasons, and I haven't mentioned it yet, there's no Will Smith. I think he is one of the biggest reasons that first one succeeds despite some of its flaws is because of his bigger-than-life charisma. When he's on the screen, you're just drawn to him. You love watching him take on the aliens. There's nobody like that in this movie. I feel like they tried to replace kind of that attitude in that character, but it doesn't work in the same level. And because of that, he carried that first one, gave it life, and there's nothing of that here, and it's sorely missing, I think. Overall, I feel like Independence Day Resurgence is a worthwhile world to revisit. I like seeing what the world is like 20 years later, and I love seeing Jeff Goldblum on the screen and the big destruction scenes, but all of that isn't enough to overlook the bad dialogue and the other things, so much so that I dragged it all the way down to a C+. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. You can check out more about what goes on here by clicking the info cards up here. By the way, we'll get to the best ever challenge here in a second. When you do that, you'll see other reviews that have happened here, as well as a way to go to the website, maybe a way to support the channel if you want to do that. If you want to search for me on social media, I love staying in contact that way. It makes it a nice two-way conversation on Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat and Periscope, whatever. I'm there. Just search for Aaron Dicer, Aarondicer. And if you listen to podcasts, we do a weekly pop culture podcast called SiftPop, SiftPop. Have a new guest on every week to chat about movies, television, whatever else we want to in the pop culture world. It's a lot of fun. All right, on to the best ever challenge, where we name the best movie ever in a particular category. You can also try to identify my choice. Let's go with the best Jeff Goldblum movie ever. I think I may have done this one before. I just had like my 7th anniversary of reviewing movies on YouTube. Craziness. So I'm sure I probably have done it before. But let's talk about it. What is your favorite Jeff Goldblum movie ever? Mine is the one where I found it ironic, because of the way he stammers, that he played the character he did in this animated movie. Name that movie. Name why I find it ironic in the comments if you want to. First person to do so does get a point. Also leave your choice there. As always, here's 5 extra seconds. You can hit the subscribe logo if you never want to miss another review. It's right down in this corner. That's the logo right there. Just click it. Giving you a little extra time here to do it.